Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here. Cam, look at the camera so they know who we got behind us. Hey, it's Camden. It's me. We're trying something a little bit different today. So you all can see the pictures. That is our plan. So let's get into it. Welcome to Holy Ground Spiritual Center Story Time with Rev, Mel, and Camden. Last month we read some stories um, as we celebrated Black History Month, and today in this month we celebrate Women History. So we're going to get into it. We just have one book, so it's a little bit long. So I hope you have your PJs on. I hope you're comfortable. I hope you are thinking about some women who have inspired you along the way and just your favorite women in the world. So let's get into it. This
Like
book,
Frida Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo, that's your person? Okay. She Persisted. 13 American women who changed the world. She Persisted. We thought this would be an easier way for you to see some books. And Lyle said the author is Chelsea Clinton, and it's illustrated by Alexandra Boyger and inspired by Senator Elizabeth Warren. Oh, and Coretta Scott King, Sophie Skull. So these are the people who inspired them to write. Here we go. Sometimes being a girl isn't easy. At some point, someone probably will tell you no, will tell you to be quiet, and may even tell you your dreams are impossible. Don't listen to them. These 13 American women certainly did not take no for an answer. They persisted. Harriet Tubman was born a slave, and her story could have ended there. Instead, she persisted, escaping from slavery and becoming the most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad. She risked her life many times to lead countless slaves to freedom, including family, friends, and strangers. Every person she led to freedom arrived safely. I should fight for my liberty as long as my strength lasted. Once Helen Keller became blind and deaf as a toddler, few people thought she'd be able to learn to read, write, or speak, but she persisted. Helen learned how to do all three and not only became the first person with deaf blindness to graduate from college, but she used her story to help fight for many more opportunities for people with disabilities in the United States and around the world. One can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar. After her family fled poverty and a threat of violence in Ukraine for a new home in New York City, Clara Limlick got a job working at a garment factory. She wrote that the factory's conditions made women into machines, and so she persisted, organizing picket lines and strikes that ultimately helped win better pay, shorter hours, and safer working conditions for thousands of workers, both women and men. I am one of those who suffers from the abuse described here, and I move that we go on a general strike. Nellie Bly became a reporter in part because a male writer had said that working women were a monstrosity, and she wanted to prove that women could do anything, at times putting her safety at risk. She persisted throughout her career in exposing real monstrosities, pretending to be a sweatshop worker and a patient in a mental hospital. She showed how badly people were treated. I have never written a word that did not come from my heart. I never shall. Inspired from an early age by brother's childhood illness, Virginia Apgar was determined to be a doctor, long before many girls had such dreams. Even though she qualified to be a surgeon, The male head surgeon at her hospital discouraged her because she was a woman. Nevertheless, she persisted, becoming an anesthesiologist and creating the APGAR score to test a newborn's baby's health, which hospitals all over the world still use today. Nobody but nobody is going to stop breathing on me. After Maria Tallchief's family moved to California, partly to support Maria's dreams of becoming a dancer, she was teased by students in school for her Native American heritage and later was discouraged to change her last name to something that sounded Russian, since many professional dancers at the time were from Russia. She persisted, ignoring all the taunting and poor advice to become the first great American prima ballerina. It never occurred to me to say, it hurts to do that. As a 15-year-old riding a bus home from school in Montgomery, Alabama, Claudette Colvin was expected to give up her seat to a white woman just because she was African American. In her refusal to get up, she persisted in taking a stand for what's right, helping to inspire Rosa Parks to make the same choice 9 months later, an act many point to as a starting modern civil rights movement. I knew then and I know now that when it comes to justice, there is no easy way to get it. You can't sugarcoat it. You have to take a stand and say that is not right. When Ruby Bridges was in kindergarten, many schools across America, particularly in the South, still refused African American students their equal right to an education. Ruby wouldn't be treated like a second class student, and she persisted, walking for weeks past angry, hateful protesters to integrate an all white elementary school in New Orleans. That fateful walk to school began a journey, and we all must work together to continue moving forward. As the first woman to serve as both a U.S. representative and a U.S. senator, Margaret Chase Smith could have let that fact alone be her legacy. Instead, she persisted in championing women's rights and more opportunities for women in the military, standing up for free speech and supporting space exploration. The head of NASA once noted that we wouldn't have put a man on the moon without Margaret. The right way is not always the popular and easy way. Standing for right when it is unpopular is a true test of moral character. Sally Ride always believed women could succeed in any math or science career. Although not everyone agreed, she persisted, and she became the first American woman in space. But that wasn't enough for Sally. She traveled into space once more and then created science and engineering programs specifically for girls so she could help generations of young women achieve their dreams too, both on Earth and in outer space. Young girls need to see role models in whatever careers they may choose, just so they can picture themselves doing those jobs someday. You can't be what you can't see. When, as a kid, Florence Griffith Joyner visited her father in the Mojave Desert, he would urge her to run faster and faster, to run as fast as a jackrabbit. Even when she had to leave college to help support her family, she persisted in her training on the track, then went back to school and got faster and faster. Her unbroken world records in the 100-meter and 200-meter sprint set at the 1988 Summer Olympics mean She is still the fastest woman ever. When anyone tells me I can't do anything, I'm just not listening anymore. Oprah Winfrey's grandmother expected Oprah to follow in her footsteps and become a maid. Oprah knew even as a little girl that her dreams would take her somewhere else. She persisted in turning those dreams into her reality and became a media superstar, working in movies, books, magazines, theater, and most of all, television, where the Oprah Winfrey Show remains the highest rated talk show of all time. The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. So if anyone ever tells you no, if anyone ever says your voice isn't important or your dreams are too big, remember these women. They persisted, and so shall you. I have just read She Persisted, 13 American Women Who Changed the World, written by Chelsea Clinton, illustrated by Alexandra Boyger. And we will now have a meditation. And first, Kim, is there anything you would like to say? I'm switching cameras, everybody. That's what's happening now. There we go. Is there anything you would like to say to any girl or any woman out there as they are trying to chase their dreams? Or what would you like to say? I know I didn't ask you that before, but we're celebrating women. I know you mentioned your favorite artist is Frida Kahlo. What makes Frida Kahlo special to you? Or what do you like about Frida Kahlo?
Frida Kahlo is like an artist, and I love artists. I love like coloring, and I love crayons. Crayons are my favorite.
Okay. So what did Frida Kahlo have any challenges, or was creating art easy for her? Did something happen to her?
Like a challenge because she had like a bus accident.
Oh, she had a bus accident. So if we put her in this book, we would say Frida Kahlo had a bus accident and she persisted. She kept on being the best artist she could be no matter what happened to her. And that's why you love her so much, because her art is definitely magnificent. So as we bring this story time to a close, I want you, Cameron's going to tap the chime to get us centered. And I want you to bring yourself to a space and think about any woman that has empowered you or encouraged you or have moved you in the space of hope and joy. And think about your ancestors, whom you admire and look up to, whom you know their stories and your experiences with them have helped you be the person you are today. Do it 3 times. Sometimes all we need is a moment to rest and to listen, so we can hear what we need to hear and remember what we need to remember, so we can celebrate those who we believe need celebration. And that includes you. There are many things that could hinder or attempt to block you from being your best self as you live, as you love, as you work, as you play. Mindful that things will happen to us. And just because things happen to us, that does not have to be the ending of our life, the ending of our story. You are in control. I invite you to read a book by your favorite author this month, as well as take some time to tell some people that you admire, that you appreciate them. And I hope this has blessed your life. And we will be back, Holy Ground will be back on April 1st for the Holy Word. So get your elements together. We're bringing in April 1st because Resurrection Sunday will be around the corner when we get into April. Thank you for joining us, and may you be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.